hands up if you think of yourself as a teacher. Yeah, thank you for your service. Hands up if you have had your spiritual or physical life saved by a teacher. Yeah, thank them for their service, right? I really, for a long time, wanted to write a book about my experience as a teacher, but it's really hard to kind of pull it all together because there's so many different things every minute of every day to think about as a teacher. So I just got a bunch of help. And instead of writing my own book, I edited an anthology of poems that are written by gay teachers about their teaching experience. It's called This Assignment is So Gay. We are poets on the art of teaching. It will be available in August, but you can pre-order it already at the website thisassignmentisSoGay.com. So I'm going to read you one of my poems from the book, but then a selection of the other contributors, just so you can see what it's all about. This one's mine. This is brown bear soup. That's what my little brother said at age 3 when our grandpa asked him why he was battering an empty bowl with a wooden spoon. My brother and I grew up in the same house, but I didn't know him until I watched him huff a Sharpie to get high in rehab. He's wanted for felonies in 2 states, but he managed to get his GED first. I teach like I am on one of those cop shows where a hard case joins the force to avenge the fact that his sister was abducted when they were children. If only he'd been a little more vigilant and needling blame games like that. Okay, this one is from Gabriel Sylvian, who is translating the work of a South Korean poet. It's called Sound Bones. Professor Kim published a new academic theory that sounds also have bones. Everyone laughed it off. A few scholars thanked Kim for the humor and the moment's amusement. Despite a strong warning from the university president, the professor opened up a class for 1 semester. Students, curious, registered for the course as a joke. At every class meeting for the entire term, he was silent, manifesting a frightening intractableness. Unable to stand it any longer, students gave their personal points of view about what a sound bone is. One student, Lee, said it was silence. Another student, Park, saw it as hidden meaning. Another student said the concept wasn't important. It was a methodological metaphor chosen for the purpose of enacting a critique of all fixed concepts. The professor's aim was too difficult to comprehend, and soon silenced. But regardless, from the next semester, our ears heard sounds much better than before. This next one is by Ruth Roof, who teaches in New Jersey. It's called Let Mike Do It. What I need, said my GED student Mike, is a little-ass book of poetry with rhymes. Mike was talking with another student. It's only recently he's begun talking to me. When he first arrived in class, he stared into space, as if placed on ice. When I'd instruct the class, he wouldn't react. But now, I know his Achilles heel, poetry. What does philosophy mean? He asked me the other day. He's assembling a storehouse of words to use in raps. He keeps his internal life under wraps. Like a true poet, he exposes himself slowly. Philosophy, I said, is what you think about life or some other important thing. I don't want to romanticize Mike. He certainly has his deficits, and I've lost 4 students already this year. Not dropped out, dead. My philosophy of life is, there's only so much you can do, but I'll help Mike find his little ass book of poetry with rhymes. This is from Douglas Ray, who teaches high school in Alabama. Morning Whitman. April's seams and seams are fraying, bursting with ragweed, pollen, and hormone-infused drama. We read Whitman on the bench beneath an old oak, the fluorescent classroom, too institutional, too routine for talk of promontories, filaments, and souls. I ask a student to read, and he does so in the persona of a hellfire, foot-washing creature, slapping his text at stanza breaks, throwing his cap off into the green, and then collapsing to the dewy ground. It's barely 8:15 a.m., and we are full throttle. Slings his arms into a line and yells skyward, "I'm crucified!" A half breath later, another student pipes up, "Is that apostrophe when the speaker addresses his soul? It's not like it's going to answer, right?" This one is from Bonnie S. Kaplan, who is an educator of former members of the state correctional facilities in the state of California. It's called fractions. Heavier Stelly, call him Heavy D, gets the bottom bunk, the denominator. The lighter guy is numero uno. He gets the top bunk, the numerator. Sometimes the two cellmates weigh the same, or the heavier guy ends up on the top bunk. This is called improper. This is from Elizabeth Gross, who teaches in Brooklyn. First workshop for Brad. Wearing their nervous systems on the outside of their soul bodies, delicate, flashing like bioluminescent jellyfish. Is that terrible to say? See how I learned from them? They will try to take everything back. I mean with their eyes, wheeling around the circle like a lighthouse spot after they read out their made things. We've talked about Greek roots. They are just realizing the terror of making something true by naming it. Even if the wrong name is given, even if nobody hears, even if you say, I have no idea where this came from. This one is from Pius Gone. Pius teaches in Arizona. Poem written minutes before school started, September 2011. Humility is hearing the click, click, click of your student walking down the hall to your class. Humility is hearing the click, click, click of your student wearing leopard print pumps. Ooh, wow. Humility is watching your student share the delight he has in his new shoes with his friends. Humility is a reminder that change, like water, seeks out the path of least resistance. And just one more poem from Dee Gilson, who teaches in Washington, D.C. This is Sonnet before Introduction to Shakespeare. In the parking lot of the community college where I teach, a young woman walks by, a Chevy Camaro where a young man sits, listening to Eminem and smoking weed.
Yes.
Though I am not old, I am too old for this, I think, walking into the gray cinder block building. I sit by a window in the faculty lounge and check my email. Outside, the man is talking to the woman through the lowered glass. He turns up the bass as Eminem sings, I am not afraid to take a chance, and she kisses him through the car window, and I wish for them love, despite what I know. So, the book is available for pre-order. ThisassignmentisSoGay.com. Get your copy in August. Thanks.